Awesome, guys. That was Sergio and the holograms, and we have we have Sergio himself, minus the holograms, with us for an interview. Say hi, Sergio.
Yo, what's up? How you guys doing?
I got lots of claps and woos in the chat. Oh man, yeah. So I'm sure you get this a lot, Sergio, but and I know the answer myself a little bit. But why don't you tell us about the holograms?
Well, so it started when so after I had done maybe like a handful of YouTube covers, I was thinking to myself like, hey, I'd actually like to take some of this on the road, and potentially perform with this. And I started thinking like, well, how am I going to do that? How is that actually going to happen? And I started formulating ideas, and I was like, what would be dope is if I did like a hologram, kind of like a Hatsune Miku kind of vibe, but doing it live. Like, how would I do that? And so it became this huge like quest of R&D, research and development of like, okay, what kind of projectors do I need? How strong of lumens do they have to be? What about the lighting in a room? Screen size, how am I going to have it project and grab onto these, clear screens that I have, and distancing, and like, how do I have, how am I supposed to flip video and stuff to make it look right? How do I film myself so I could project myself well onto a screen? And it's just like, it really took me almost a year because there's nothing on the internet for stuff like this. Like, I could not find anyone who has just done it and posted about it and talked about it and like walked you through it. You know what I mean? Like a DIY on YouTube, nothing. So I had to go back to San Jose State University and talk to some of my like former bosses that were in the video editing department. I'm like, guys, how should I film myself? Like, how do I do this? I need help. I want to make this dream come to life. And so, again, they gave me some amazing tips. I figured out how to film myself, what kind of lighting I needed. This is all pre-production, right? Like the stage of it to make the holograms look really good on screen. And so, yeah, after all of that was said and done, I got it together, and my debut was at a California Extreme show. No, I'm sorry. It was PRGE. PRGE, I think it was 2015 or 2016.
Oh, wow. Portland, yeah.
Is where I debuted. It was Rick Wace. I was talking with him, and I'm like, dude, could I perform these holograms? Was it Rick Wace? No, I think it was California Extreme. It was one of the two. But I'm like, guys, can we give it a shot? And I think, no, it was California Extreme. And I think the dude was like, at the time, the promoter was like, I'm a little skeptical. I don't know how that's even going to work. How like, is it going to eat up too much power and shut things down? Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And sure enough, I'm like, look, I tested it out at home. It works. It didn't burn my house down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so I had a bunch of buddies come out. We all came out handling these massive acrylic screens. They were huge. It was like two people, like it's like it takes 2 to 3 people to carry them. Which I've since like redesigned my production, but at the time, they were massive, and it worked. It worked. And the dude was like, dude, I'm impressed. I thought like things were gonna shut down and like you were gonna cause outages, but it worked. He's like, you can come back next year. I was like, okay, thank you. Thank you. And from then forward, it just became like, hey, I did CAX. You want me or what? You know what I mean? And then just like show after show, it started building up. And then that's how that happened.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was lucky enough to see that for the first time myself at, I think it was 2018 at Mag West.
It was
the Jam Space there.
Yeah, I did Jam Space. Yeah, for Mag West. Absolutely.
Dude, that was hella tight.
Thank you. And then I came back, I think the following year, and then I was on the main stage the following year.
Good. Yeah, you should have been. And for those of you in the chat who are like, what is this guy actually talking about? There is the link for his website, and you can go and just there on the front page there, you can actually see the physical setup of the holograms. Because yeah, I mean, as you saw in his performance, Sergio is like a one-man band, and so taking that and translating that to a live format is a huge amount of effort. And yeah, dude, like the the production value of that is just like you said, I'm surprised it took only a year to do all of the R&D on that piece.
Yeah, again, it just like It just was, I woke up one morning. I remember I drew this out on a piece of paper too. I still have it. I think I saved it somewhere on my other computer, but I was using stick figures and I had like this, again, the whole vision was laid out in front of me. And I'm like, this is going to happen. I'm going to make this happen. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, sure enough, it happened. So since then, the new design of the screens that help capture the footage for the holograms, they're no longer like massive acrylic screens. They're now foldable. You can roll them up.
Oh, whoa.
And you could even expand them out. You know what I mean? So it's like I could carry it myself. All my 3 screens that I use to project myself, I just put it on my shoulder and I can take it myself.
Yeah, because the other like 4 people required to help you set up your stage just like didn't want to do it anymore, eh?
I needed to. Dude, you could only do so much with beer and pizza.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It'll only take you so far.
When you're on a budget, man, like it only goes so far.
And when your crew is all bloated on beer and pizza, then you go even less far, right?
I'm good, bro. I'm done. Yeah, you know what I mean? So now it's nice. It just goes on the shoulder and it goes to wherever it needs to go. It's so the point of that is I wanted to make it international. You know, I want the production, the show to be where, you know, if they want me in the UK, you know, in Japan, you know, open up for Hatsune Miku kind of thing. Like I want it so that it can go there. You know what I mean? But that'll have to wait, you know, once the Rona chills out a little bit, then we can think about live shows later.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're about as global as you can be at the moment. Yeah, well, maybe we can use that as a bit of a segue into like some of your inspiration, and not to like,
Sure.
You know, like, did the cart come before the horse? Like, did Sergio and the Holograms, like, was that like, were you a one-man band already, and then you were like, okay, I need to take this live. How do I do this? Or was it just like, I'm Sergio and the Holograms, here's all my YouTube content, now I want to make it live? You know, like, did the name come first and kind of inspire that, or?
Definitely the YouTube videos came first. Like just being a one-man band and like performing it on YouTube, or sorry, like pre-recording, kind of getting everything together. The idea there was ultimately I just wanted to show my mom like how much I had learned with music. To be like, look, check it out, mom. Like, I can do this. Like, look at all those years that I spent annoying you, playing the drums, playing the bass, playing the guitar. Check this out. You know what I mean? Like, and I just put it all together just to kind of show her that I could do it, you know? And then it became like, well, I should just start doing this for friends. I should just do this for people on YouTube. I should just do this as like, you know, with songs that I like, you know, and pop them up. And so that's where Dr. Wily, that fish eye lens of the bass, you know what I mean? Like, that's where that started. And so once that happened, I go, all right, let's take this on the road. Let's make it live. How do we do that? And then the holograms happened.
Nice. And speaking of Dr. Wily too, Mice W in the chat has highlighted his question. Are you required to play Wily 2 to be a real VGM artist?
Are you required to beat Dr. Wily 2 to become a real
to play, like to perform the song Dr. Wily 2? Are you to be a legit VGM artist?
You know, that's a good question, because I feel like a lot of us VGM cover artists, that's like one of our go-tos. It's been done by a lot of us, you know what I mean? And it's not a staple. You don't have to do it, you know what I mean, to start doing this. It really just starts with your favorite video game track. You know, it starts with what inspires you, with what fuels your fire. Cover it on whatever instrument you want, and then you're that's it. You're a part of the club, man. You know? So,
that is a great answer. Yes.
Yeah, you know. So that's how it starts. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh man, I would add that you know, like when people ask the silly question like, "Oh, what's you know, what's your favorite console?" and it's like, "Well, what does that matter? Who does that serve?" You know, like the capitalist organizations that are putting this together, like, let's just come together and celebrate our love of video games and video game music and all of that. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of your favorite games.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I would love to. So, for me, I have a few top favorite consoles, and a lot of them are actually like, yeah, the NES is one of my favorite consoles too. But I do like some of like the late 90s, early 2000s consoles. And I'm talking like Dreamcast, you know, PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn. Like something about the graphics, that blockiness, like it was that transition of getting into polygons, but like starting to make them look somewhat good. You
like
know what I
Virtua
mean?
Fighter and all that stuff.
Virtua Fighter,
Yeah, man.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but then like you get amazing titles like was that Final Fantasy 7, 1997, 1996, 97. You get where you had this terrible looking Cloud, like super block, like Lego looking
guy.
character. Yeah. And then you get to the fight scenes, and the fight scenes look better. And then it gets to the FMV sequences, the cutscenes, and you go, "Whoa! Like that looked amazing! Like that's a huge step." Like,
and nobody's saying that nowadays. No one's looking back at that and being like, "Oh wow, that's amazing." But no, like being in that period, only '90s kids will remember, you know, what that transition was like.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, like, I appreciate the level of artistry and R&D that went into that. The pioneers of people who made the game start looking the way they did then. You know what I mean? And so that's why those are some of my favorite consoles, because that's where you started seeing those massive transitions. And then the gameplay was fantastic. The composing was fantastic. You know, you had people like Nobuo Uematsu, one of my favorite composers of all time. And then going back to the NES, we had Kazuo Sawa, who did the Kunio-kun series, which is like River City Ransom, Crashing the Boys, like those kinds of games. And, you know, his compositions were phenomenal. And so a lot of what becomes my favorite games or my favorite consoles, a lot of it also has to do with the kind of compositions and the kind of songs that were associated with the games, you know, because I feel like a good track, a good video game track makes the game that much better. Because I have had it where I've played a game that had terrible mechanics, just awful, but the music was awesome and it made the game fun. I'm like, wow, this is a terrible game otherwise, but the music made it so good.
Looking at you at early Final Fantasy series.
Am I, what's that?
I said, looking at you early Final Fantasy series.
Right. And I think another one was where, you know, you play a game where the music was unfortunately just not as good, but the gameplay was phenomenal. And it just makes it hard to enjoy the game. You know what I mean? So it's having that fine balance. There's two amazing arts that have to come together in a really good harmony to really, you know, make that game really good. And so that's kind of what it's been like for me. You know what I mean? Again, with choosing, you know, games that I like. So
awesome, man. Yeah. All right, well, it's been really awesome having you on the show, dude, and thank you for your time for the interview. This has been a real treat. Wish we could have gotten, you know, the real you and Holograms perform something for us, but maybe next time we'll string something together.
Yeah, for sure. I think next time would be great, man. Yeah, I might have the space to do it now. I didn't last year, but now I might. The place is bigger, so it's a possibility.
Nice. You just fold them all up in on themselves and stuff like that. Just compounded.
Exactly. Just like multi-layer inception of holograms.
Oh, man. I'm having a flashback to a scene in Hannibal, actually. Ooh, maybe we can still. Oh, yeah. Anyways, sorry. I won't spoil that for anybody else. But again, thank you so much for joining us, Sergio, and we'll see you around in the chat, bud.
Thank you for having me. You guys take care, man. It's been great chilling with you guys.
All right. Later, bud.
All right. See ya.